Sunday morning here in North Israel, and it's February 2nd, Groundhog Day. So happy Groundhog Day. Will Punxsutawney Phil see his shadow or not? Will it be a long winter or an early spring? I guess we'll have to wait for the groundhog to tell us. Um, all kidding aside, what's going on in crypto? What's going on in Bitcoin, Solana, Litecoin, Ethereum, other markets? Well, let's talk specifically about Bitcoin and Solana real quick. If you notice, they dumped out very nicely on the VEPS information. We were speaking about this yesterday during the live stream over at the Alpha Trading Discord. Maybe you caught it on our syndication channel over on that other popular Rumble platform. But if you didn't, well, basically, if you were listening to what we were going over yesterday, you'll notice it was made very clear during our live stream that a further dump was very possible. And sure enough, that dump happened like within an hour after the live stream ended. It began dumping out. No surprise there. The assets began to move to the downside because the variance and correlation were indicating as much, as was the entropy, as was the returns oscillator, and also the AVR. Once again, the leading primary indicators gave a full heads up ahead of time that this was going to happen. And if you look at where they dumped out to, they each tagged perfect targets on the VRE chart, which of course includes the VRE levels, as well as the Laplace and normal distribution levels of various time frames, notably the 4-hour and daily, and the VRE on the daily, weekly, and monthly. Now, what you'll also notice is that yesterday, Solana, for example, tested not only the daily range, the central daily range, but also the central monthly range, which is incredibly tight this month on Solana. It's 0.03% of the asset's value. So it's a very tight monthly range, which means most probably a trending month. And obviously we've seen some very nice trending moves in the first day and now into the second day already. And if you look at the 4-hour time frame, for example, you can see that it dipped down from the starting point of a recent projection boss distribution model starting point. It dumped out on the last candle to the 95.5 Laplace distribution and started the current candle there from where it is rising, which is not a surprise. Could it dump out further to go down to the 997? Certainly it could, but at the moment it is, well, the last I looked at it some minutes ago, it is rising because the returns are heading to the upside, right? So that is what's going on with Solana. Bitcoin also doing similar movement. Other altcoins also were moving in similar direction. Very often what happens on Bitcoin happens to a lot of other coins. It's just in different scales and amounts. Just like when you have sometimes big movements on Ethereum, it can be that assets are pegged to that, so they also follow in suit with the general movement. But the specifics, of course, will depend on the VEPs of each asset. It's just that there is, when you have something like Ethereum that has all these ERC tokens that are pegged directly to Ethereum, they often will move kind of in line or in coordination with Ethereum, because people that are trading Ethereum will also be trading these other ERC tokens, and they'll typically do that, by running batch orders to trade, large amounts of these different altcoins at the same time. And so you'll have movements across the board on these altcoin tokens that are tied together. that are essentially made from the same blockchain. And so it's quite natural to see people who have, or organizations, companies, HFT firms, etc., that have large baskets of these altcoins, running orders that are proportionally sized, if you will. So, if Ethereum pumps 3%, 5%, whatever, it might be that a more illiquid coin might move 5, 7, 9%, 13%, whatever. That happens a lot. It's not a one-to-one correlation all the time, obviously, most of the time, in fact. And got to remember that on any asset, prices are, in fact, random most of the time, as markets are, in fact, random most of the time, except when they're actually trending. And how can you tell if they're trending? Well, you can use our entropy indicator to see when they're in a trending move, or usually on a random walk, as I am on one right now. I can't see your messages there in the bright sunshine. What does it say? Hey, autocorrect. Text. Anyway, hello. So, yeah, that's what's going on with Bitcoin and Solana and Litecoin and other markets in the crypto space. We're seeing a lot of nice movement. So this dump was not at all a surprise to any of the VEPS traders. We've been telling people to take their profits the past couple of days. I sure hope that if you were in longs, you took your profits, because if not, you certainly, took a beating on the way down. And that's, again, why it's important to remember, right, the 3 principles of trading. And we always tell people, obviously, risk management is the overall way to trade, is the most important thing about trading. But the 3 principles that make up that concept are, first of all, take your profits early and often. Second of all, limit your loss. So if you're in the wrong side of a trade, just get out as quickly as possible. And third of all, don't be emotionally attached to your trades. Right? If you're trading things that you care about, like about trading them, you shouldn't be trading them, probably, right? Trade things you really don't have an emotional attachment to, at least while you're in the trade. Like you can like a coin or a project or an asset for whatever reason. You might be emotionally attached to it outside of trading, and that's fine. But when it comes to trading the asset, you should not have emotional attachment to it, right? Think like a bot. Bots operate according to the numbers. They don't care, right, about feelings. They don't have feelings. They're just bots running trades according to the numbers. As well, you should too. So look for those occurrences of opportunity and make the trades, that make sense, because they're no-brainers. And then take your profits early and often. All right, that's going to do for now. Catch up with you guys in a little bit. Peace.